Thank you for joining us. Let's turn our focus back to the big story that we were tracking on this broadcast regarding Justice Varma. Justice Varma, of course, has tendered his resignation to the President of India today. Joining us to discuss this and share his perspective, we have a special guest. Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, former Supreme Court judge, is live with us. Justice Kaul, appreciate you joining us on NewsX today. My first question to you, does this resignation now close this entire chapter, sir?
Really, can you hear me?
Absolutely, loud and clear, sir.
Okay. So, yes, it does close. See, this process began somewhere in March of 2025, and it's been more than a year. I'm given to understand from the papers that this was reaching a stage of the defense which the judge had to do. And, well, it's a long period of time. There are various calls which a person has to take. So it appears that he wanted to put a closure to the issue rather than take it to some conclusion. So he's resigned. And once a judge resigns, the settled position of law is that the resignation is not to be accepted in that sense. Resignation operates from the time period he resigns. So once he resigns, he no more holds office. There's no question of any inquiry.
Okay. Now, unprecedented move by the then Chief Justice Sanjeev Khanna. We saw how he had released to the public prima facie findings of the registrar and opened an investigation. Do you believe that set a precedence, a solid precedence, in fact, of transparency, that act, that move?
No, so see, there are two different stages. When such a complaint is received, the Chief Justice makes his own inquiry. He can make it himself, or as Justice Khanna deemed it proper, he sought the assistance of a committee to do so for him to form an opinion. That was only a formation opinion by him, but that doesn't take the process of impeachment in the sense envisaged under the Constitution, which can only be a committee appointed by the Speaker. So in view of what his view was on the basis of the committee, he referred the matter to the government, which then took up the matter for through the process for the Speaker to appoint the committee, which is the committee now constituted, where there are different rights in terms of cross-examination, in terms of nature of material on record, etc., which would have taken place. So this is the process. After this, the report would have been submitted to the Parliament for necessary action.
Right. You know, we often see scandals, Justice Kaul, in politics. We see them in civil services as well. But how important is it that we don't see them with the judiciary? How important is it that the judiciary retain an unimpeachable public reputation?
See, judiciary stands slightly on a different footing, but if you see the actions taken from time to time, at least at the subordinate level of the judiciary, actions are periodically taken. I recollect the time I spent as Chief Justice Punjab Haryana or Chief Justice of the Madras High Court. Almost every year, on the basis of records, we used to dispense with services of some people at the levels of, say, 58, 56, which is provided, or if we wanted to hold an inquiry and take it to some further conclusion, to hold an inquiry. The position of a High Court judge and Supreme Court judge is slightly different. These are constitutional positions. The protection is provided to these constitutional position people because by its very nature, the judiciary is a check and balance on the executive. Therefore, that if somebody passes orders which may or may not be adverse to the powers that be, that kind of a protection is envisaged for the functioning of the judiciary. There may be situations where some people may be errant and that may result in consequences. Some people have resigned. Some people resign also because they feel it's sometimes too humiliating to go through the process. Plus, the visibility in the virtual media otherwise, creates his own scenario and pressures. So that's how it appears that the judge at some stage felt that it is better to leave than try to justify himself in those proceedings.
Right. Okay. My final question then to you, what lessons can be learned from all of this for us? What perhaps precedents, SOPs should be set, can be set now for the future of transparency and collective reputation safeguarding?
See, I think there is enough on paper to do the needful. It's a question of implementation which arises. Also, appreciate this is a so generous case by itself where something happened. I had, of course, in public domain expressed some reservation on the issue in which this matter had been dealt with also. But leave that aside. There are ultimately either you go through a process of impeachment or you are having the moral authority to call upon and the person is willing to put in his papers. These are the only two methods by which a constitutional post holder like a High Court or Supreme Court judge can be made to leave. So I don't think something more can be done at this stage given the constitutional scheme. But where something comes to the notice, I do feel a proper process has to be followed and a quick action taken so that others are deterred.
All right. I appreciate you joining us, Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, with your perspective on this big story. On that note, we're going to slip into a very short break. Much more coming up on the other side.